Passionate about helping women with invisible illnesses realize that you can still lead a pretty healthy and active lifestyle. It's just not going to be the one that you had intended for yourself, but what else are you going to do about it? Sitting around for feeling sorry for yourself is not a winning strategy because I tried that and it don't work. So, greetings from Texas. I made it. It was a hell of a trip. I have a hard time flying because the fibro demons do not like sitting still that long. And it's about 3 hours and 45 minutes to Seattle. I had a couple hours in Seattle, and then it was like 3 hours and 40 minutes to Dallas. Well, I did okay on the Seattle flight. I started getting a little uncomfortable, but it wasn't too bad about the last hour of the flight. And I was like, no big deal. I got a couple of hours to walk around in Seattle. This is going to be fine. It was not fine. My trip from Seattle to Dallas was so long and it was overnight. But my legs, which are kind of the bane of my existence, my legs started to hurt so damn bad. I seriously could hardly stand it. I couldn't sit still. I had the creepy crawlies. I was having all kinds of problems. My fascia was just squeezing the crap out of my muscles and it was just miserable. I did not get any sleep, but I made it. And I'm at my really good friend's house and I have my own. This is like the coolest little guest house. It's fully self contained. I can even cook in here, but she's an amazing hostess. So I've been up at the main house for meals, at least so far. I'm going to go to the store soon and get some provisions for myself because I'm already taking a lot of advantage of her kindness just by being here, and I get to stay for a couple of weeks, and the view that I have, y'all, is absolutely amazing. And then this morning there were deer right outside the window of the guest house. The part of Alaska I'm from, well, I think most of Alaska, I'm too far north for deer. So seeing deer in my yard this morning or in the yard this morning was a really, really cool experience for me. They're so much smaller than moose. Anyway, and the next couple of weeks are going to be a little weird because everything's kind of topsy-turvy right now. But let's talk about some tips for creating a positive mindset. Some of this information before I go any further is from tinybuddha.com. I think it surprises people who know me, who haven't known me for a long time. I used to be a really negative person, and a lot of it was my health issues, which is funny because I was a lot healthier then than I am now. But this stuff's hard to deal with. And if you don't have a good foundation to build from, which I didn't, it's really easy to let this stuff get to you and it brings you down and it makes you bitchy. It just does. Living in pain most of the time is a very difficult way to live. But I figured out at some point that I had to make a change with my mindset. So here we go. I've struggled with confidence my whole life. I mean that quite literally, my entire life. And all of a sudden I found myself, okay, it wasn't all of a sudden. It's not like I got there overnight, but I found myself really overweight, horrifyingly sick, really depressed. I felt hopeless. And if you've never felt hopeless, I can assure you it's way worse than you can imagine. It is a horrible place to be mentally. And one day I don't know how I really don't know how this happened, but one day I was sitting there and I was feeling really, I was feeling so sorry for myself. And like, why me? Why is this happening to me? I heard a voice in my head that said, why not you? What would make you exempt from life? And it was just like, oh, damn. Huh? I had never thought about it that way. And that's when I realized I needed to make a change. And here's a great quote from Gary Goldstein. I'm sorry, I'm not good with pronunciation of names. I really almost foobarred that. All you can change is yourself, but sometimes that changes everything. It really does. It really does. Like I said, my health problems have only gotten worse, but I'm a really positive person now because I've learned how to be grateful. And I've learned so much. I've learned so much about myself and about life as a result of dealing with all this. And honestly, if you could wave a magic wand and make it all go away tomorrow, If it meant I had to give up everything I've learned, I wouldn't do it. I really wouldn't. As much as this sucks, I wouldn't do it. Doesn't that sound crazy? But here are 8 tips for building a positive mindset. Number 1, you need to know you are powerful. You are so much more powerful than you will ever imagine. You truly are. You need to hell with other people's expectations of you. What do you want to do? What do you want? And why aren't you doing it? Do you even know what you want? Because I'll be real honest, that's something I still struggle with. And I'm a woman of a certain age. I'm not getting any younger. I need to figure it the hell out. But I have a lot better idea than I did a couple years ago. You need to deal with your limiting beliefs. I told excuse me, I told one of my supervisors, and we're really close. We have a really good relationship. And I made a comment to him one day, well, I'm just the secretary. And it's the only time he's ever gotten really angry with me. And he was furious. He's like, who in the hell told you you're just the secretary? He said, I can't run this place without you. He's right. He can't. But that was a very self-limiting belief. And since that day, and it didn't happen right away, but since that day, I've really taken a lot of initiative and I've expanded my role at work enough that I I ended up in a position where I asked the number 3 person at my place of employment, "Hey, if I decide to look for another job, can I get a letter of reference from you?" And you know what she said? "Absolutely, no problem." In fact, she asked me if there was anything she could do to help me. Excuse me. So, if I hadn't gotten over my limiting beliefs, if I hadn't realized that I do have a lot more power than I thought, I would have never had the courage to ask her for that. Hell, I would have never had the courage to ask her to go to lunch with me. Number 2, this one's so important, especially if you're dealing with health issues. You have to embrace life. You only have one shot at this. Time is going to pass no matter what. Time is going to pass whether you sit on your ass and feel sorry for yourself or whether you get up and go out. And if you what's the saying? If you aim for the moon, at least you'll land amongst the stars. That's a pretty damn good philosophy, truly. I mean, it's cliche, sure, but you know what? Cliches are around for a reason. Most of them are pretty true. You need to let go of the trivial. Let go of all the white noise, the static, the bullshit. Let it go. Don't get caught up in all the negative crap going on. And I know that's hard, especially with everything going on in the world. But focus on things you can control. Focus on your happiness. Focus on your purpose. Focus on your values. If you don't know what your purpose is, start looking. Start learning about yourself. Start doing self-help, personal development, whatever the hell you want to call it. Learn about yourself. Be open. Number 3, oh, this one's hard for me. I'm gonna be real honest. This one's hard for me. You need to understand that you and only you can learn to control how you choose to respond to anything. Look, you can't control what happens. You certainly can't control what other people are going to say or do, but you can learn to control how you choose to respond. And I say respond instead of react because, in my opinion, reaction is that initial gut, oh, gosh dang it, you made me so mad. That's a reaction, in my opinion. A response is when I can take that emotional step back and go, okay, you're a jackass, but, and find a more creative, I shouldn't say creative, a more constructive way to deal with this situation. You need to remember too, when it comes to controlling your responses, that your internal beliefs, they become your external facts. So if you tell yourself that, oh, I can't control how I react to something, then guess what? You're never going to get a grip on it. And when you can't get a grip on that, guess what you're doing? You're giving your power away. Don't give your power away ever to anybody because nobody's worth that. Nobody is worth that. Number 4, excuse me, I still have the COVID cough. I kind of expect I'm going to for a while. Number 4, quit worrying about other people. You know what? Their opinion, it doesn't matter. What other people think of you, frankly, it's none of your business. And it only carries as much weight as you choose to allow it. So who gives a damn if somebody doesn't? I'm truly, who gives a damn if they don't like you? Blow them off, move on. You've got more important people to worry about. You've got more important things to worry about. The only opinion that you need to worry about is your own. And then you also need to figure out who's defining you. Are these beliefs that you have about yourself, are they really yours? Or is it some crap that somebody handed you probably a long time ago that you just, for whatever reason, picked up and started carrying? For me, I really learned this. This is going to sound really funny, but about my legs. I have nice legs. Now, I don't have supermodel legs. They're not a mile long, but I got really nice legs. They're very toned. I work hard. I'm known on Twitter for posting my leggings because I have an amazing leggings collection. But a a woman that I used to be friends with, she used to always make fun of me for my legs. And, "Oh, you've got such short, stubby little legs." And I don't know why I never challenged that. I don't know why when she handed me that, I just accepted it. And for years, I was ashamed of how my legs looked. I don't have any reason to be ashamed. Frankly, I got a reason to be pretty damn proud. But make sure you know whatever BS you're telling yourself, make sure you know where it's coming from because chances are you just let somebody dump some crap on you and you're carrying it around. Let it go. I gave my power to that woman for years and years. And I mean, to the point that it really impacted my self-esteem. How ridiculous is that? But hindsight's 2020, right? Number 5, you need to know that you are enough because you are. If you have to compare yourself with somebody else, I need to quit moving around. I'm sorry. I'm fidgety and my feet just barely touch the floor in this chair, so it's easy for me to fidget. But compare yourself only with people who are less fortunate than you are. Why? Because that's going to remind you to be grateful. When we're not grateful, we always feel that we're lacking something. You've got to focus on the good things in your life. You've got to focus on your blessings, on the positive things. When I get really down and I start struggling with what I don't have any good things, which is such a load of crap, but we all go there. At least I think all of us do. Most of us do. You got a roof over your head and you have electricity and you have running water. Those 3 things put you ahead of millions of people on this planet. And you should be grateful for those things. I used to babysit for this woman, and she had adopted 2 little boys, and the younger one was from India, and he was 5 when he came to the US, and he hadn't the orphanage he'd been in, they didn't have running water, and they didn't have electricity, or at least not like we do, and he would it was kind of annoying at the time, but now looking back and just what a miracle it must have been to him. He would go in the bathroom and he'd sit there and he'd flush that toilet over and over and over and over, and he'd just laugh. He thought that was the coolest thing. And then when he'd get tired of the toilet, he'd go to the light switch and up and down and up and down and up and down. He was fascinated by it. That's something that we take for granted, but to this little boy, it was like magic. So a lot of the things in your life that you should be grateful for are things that you take so for granted you overlook them. Don't. They're all blessings. Number 6, you have to love yourself. Happiness is not external. You are not going to be happy if you start earning a certain amount of money. You are not going to be happy if you get into a certain size of pants. You are not going to be happy if you land that special job. The happiness comes from your heart. It comes from within. It comes from accepting yourself and loving who you are. Excuse me. Sorry. Number 7, you have to stay cool. Giving into emotions, I kind of stated this a second ago, but it gives your power away. Why do we give our power away? I don't know about you, but I'm very emotional. And I'm not proud of this. I have a temper. I have a quick temper. I get mad really. I get over it really fast, but I get mad really fast. But you know what? That's giving my power away. Say you're driving to work, or maybe you're just driving over to a friend's house and somebody cuts you off. How do you respond to that? Do you respond or do you react? Do you get pissed off about it? Well, guess what? Nobody cares. Truly, nobody cares. If the person who cut you off, first of all, you have no idea what's going on in their life. Maybe they are just a thoughtless jerk. Maybe their kid's sick and they're racing home. Maybe they have a loved one who's dying and their mind just isn't where it should be while they're driving. Maybe they just have to go to the bathroom. My point is, you don't know what's going on in that person's life and in their world, and yet we make these snap judgments and we have these reactions when we should be responding. He who controls his emotions wins every time. I'm sure you know somebody eh, that always flies off the handle, and you know what? It doesn't matter how valid that person's points are. When you can't control your emotions, when you fly off the handle. Actually, I have somebody in my mind right now, absolutely brilliant, usually very kind, cannot control her temper for anything. It makes her look it makes her look immature. It makes her look well, it makes her look like a lot of things, but it's sad because she's somebody I care about a lot, and I've had to distance myself because I can't deal with her temperament. She can't control her emotions. Now, there's a lot of reasons for that, okay? I'm not judging whatever those reasons are. Excuse me. I do judge the fact that she's aware this is a problem and won't do anything about it. That is what I don't ever judge people for having problems. But don't sit there and tell me, "Oh, I have this problem, I have this problem, I have this problem, I have this problem," and don't lift a finger to help yourself because I've got no patience with that. Either suck it the hell up and do something about it or quit complaining. It's that simple. She doesn't want to do anything about it, and it's cost her a lot of friendships over the years, and that's really sad to me. Anyway, finally, number 8, journey well, because life is a journey, and it's what you make of it. You need to choose your happiness now. Don't put it off. When I was heavier, and I'll be honest, I can still fall into this if I'm not careful, but when I was heavier, all my friends, "Hey, you wanna go do this?" No. Especially when I lived in California, they'd want to go to the beach. Hell no, I don't wanna go to the beach. I'm a fat girl. I don't wanna go to what the hell do I wanna go to the beach for? Well, you know what? My friends from California all have memories of those times of going and hanging out together. You know what my memories were? Sitting home feeling sorry for myself and probably eating because I'm an emotional eater, and that's the kind of stupid things that emotional eaters do. You need to remember life is it's a gift. It's a blessing. No, it's not always easy, but there's always a choice. There's always a choice, no matter what situation you're facing. You know, sometimes I've had days that have been just so bleak and so horrific and heartbreaking for a multitude of reasons. And my blessing on those days, my bright point has always been, I shouldn't say always, but the last probably 10 years or so. Well, the best thing I can say about today is I never have to experience this day again in my life. That for me, that's my blessing. There's always something to be grateful for. You just got to find it. But nobody can help you with that. You've got to make that choice. And really, that's all it is. That's all it is. Even on days when I am in so much freaking pain that all I want to do is curl up in a ball and cry, which, side note, that just makes the headache worse. So I don't. And I mean, what the hell is that going to solve? Nothing. But it's a choice. And I pull myself out of that and I choose, okay, so maybe this isn't going to be the best day, but I'm not going to give in to this. I'm not going to let this crap rule my mood and run my emotions because I can't. I can't give in to that. It's too easy to just drop down that slope and hit rock bottom. I don't want to go there again. I've been there. I didn't enjoy it. I don't want to go back. Anyway, that's all I have. I hope y'all have a great night. I'm not sure for now. I'm going to stay. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do about the time because it is 8 o'clock here and I usually go to bed at 8 o'clock. But I don't want to cut off all my Alaska people either. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. But anyway, um, I guess Friday will be a surprise what time I end up live streaming. But I hope you all have a great, I almost said weekend. No, it's only Wednesday. Oh, by the way, if you follow me on Twitter, I'll probably announce it on Twitter at some point fairly early Friday. Holy crap, I'm rambling. Y'all have a great night. I'll see you Friday. Thanks. Bye.